Of you, Azure actually comply to 91 certification as of today. When we say 91 certification, this is actually industry related, and also what we talk about is actually is country related. So over each country, then you need to have a different certification. We can able to provide you those certification. For example, Singapore actually needed a MCT level 3. We do have obtained MDC level 3 certification. And if you look at India, there is actually Ministry of E-commerce. There is a specific certification required. We have obtained. Then Europe, there are specific certification that we have. So country by country also we have a lot of certification that we obtained. The other good thing is actually Azure is the one first to get most of the certification compared to any other cloud provider. Then application innovation. If you are going to do some innovation into our application, that's also right thing to do to go directly to the cloud instead of building that in on-prem. Software end of software. Example, Windows Server 2008, Windows Server SQL Server 2008, 2008 R2 actually is end of life. You can use to migrate Azure to migrate so that you can able to get the free support on the cloud. So the question is actually, yeah, I decided to migrate my on-prem data center to Azure, but what path I can go? The first thing is what you can see, right? One of the things, the easiest path is you can take a lift and shift, which is what we call highway. You can take this highway, you can go into Azure. Then what you can do, you can sit down there for a while, then you can able to refactor your application. Then you can go into PaaS. Example, you can keep your infrastructure, app server, web server, everything into IaaS. You can change your database to PaaS, or you can keep your database as a with IaaS machine. Then you can change your web server as a PaaS. So that is what we call a refactor. Then you also want to consider rewrite. Then you can write to the completely everything to cloud native. That is a one part. The second is actually halfway. What we call it actually, you can keep everything go there, and you can convert either your one of your web server into Azure application server, or you can convert your the IaaS server as a container. Then you can move to PaaS workload. Then you can go to cloud native. The last one is actually you don't want to do anything of these two, then you can go directly to cloud native. Then you can convert everything as a cloud native application. You can go to full-fledged cloud native applications. These are the three parts that you have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how do I do for the lift and shift first using the Azure Migrate. So when I want to do this, right, what are the choice of tool that I have? You do have a we have a program called Azure Migrate. In that program, we have a access. So when you do access, right, because you need to know I'm running in a machine. This machine actually is need a X number of CPU, X number of RAM, the storage. When I do this, how much is going to cost me in Azure? How do I do my data migration? How do I do my SQL migration, right? All this actually is one of the question. We do have a tool, the tool able to provide you a more detail. Then we do have a migrate tool, which actually once you did assessment, we can able to migrate. After migrate, we can able to provide you optimization solution. So I will cover all the three parts. Now, when we do this, we have a partner of choice tool. Not only just use Microsoft, you do have other partner tools. So you can use any one of these partner tools. These data will also will appear in the Azure portal. So let me show you the demo. Let's take it for example, Azure Kantosha is in a website. This website is running on UK. When you look at this website, the customer actually are running on VMware environment. And the VMware environment, the customer actually running an Apache, SQL, PHP as an application. Then when they want to migrate this, so they actually go into Azure and they create a Azure Migrate server. When they create Azure Migrate server, basically it gives you OVA file. You just need to download the OVA file. When you download the OVA file, it creates a virtual appliance in your virtual VMware environment. Once you create a VMware environment, basically this OVA file will need an access to the VX server. Then it will tell you, because some of them using multi-cloud, So because you hosted into a separate vendor, the vendor won't give you the access. In this case, you just need an appliance, then you go install the software and actually select which servers that you want from the list. Then only those servers will be able to check and able to discover using the web browser. Once you discover is done, the data actually sent to Azure. Then discovery will tell you how many servers you there. Then you group that server. Once you group the server, then you can able to see what is the assessment that we can able to do. When you group the server, for example, out of many server, actually I group them into a VM pool. Then I'm able to see this actually is in a VM. Then I have to install some agents, because when you do this, we need to install two agents. One what we call dependency agent, another one is MMA agent. Here, what we are doing is when we do dependency map agent, it will tell you what are the dependencies. I will show you the demo later on. What is the dependency map agent? How it's going to give you the valuable output. Now you have brought up all this VM here, then it tell you what agent you're in, how many core is actually required, what is the memory, how many disks that you use, what is the storage. If you use more than one network adapter, it will also tell you what are the network adapter that you are using. Then here is the agent that you can download. So the MMA agent basically is help you to migrate all your data to all your VM to the cloud. When we do migrate, we on the fly convert your VMware image into Azure based image, which is VMD, VHD image. Okay, basically we convert, so you don't need to do anything. We do all the thing backend. Okay, then with dependency map agent will give you more detail. So once you do assessment, it tell you that whether this particular OS able to migrate or not. Some of them, if you use right, conditionally endorsed on Linux OS. So some of them actually different type of board, different type of VM size. So if you're using the operating system different version than the supported one, then it will be a conditional. If a supported one, it will become a green like tick mark. Okay, those things will give you before even you migrate, and it's also giving you the mapping exactly what you have in on-prem, that exact mapping of Azure VM size. Okay, then once you are okay with this, then you can go and see how much is going to be a monthly cost on the compute point of view, how much is going to be for the storage point of view. This costing will be given automatically using the calculator. Then if you install dependency map agent, then it will tell you the servers actually is there. For example, web server and the app server and database server. How these servers are talking and what are the ports are open. So that when you migrate, you know exactly these are the ports are actually I need to open. So that the firewall communication is ready. Then when server is trying to communicate each other, you will know exactly how the communication is are working. So because sometimes the systems are built long time ago, the people are no longer in the organization, then how do you know, right? So by using this tool, you know which are the client is talking to this and which actually system is doing what, right? Exactly, you will be able to see all the mapping here. This is really helpful for people so that you don't miss any of the dependencies that you need to migrate. Then you don't have a broken thing later on when you after migration. This will tell you clear image on before even you migrate. Once you have done this, then all the assessment that what we are trying to do is ready. Then we actually start putting into the images. Once we actually enable all these images has come to Azure, then it starts replicating. Once it's all replicating, it will become a OK status, because if you look at this, all the VM is actually is ready for you to migrate, which means what we did actually using this agent, we blob level, we copy your changes to the Azure, we keep secure all the VMs ready. We don't do anything yet. Okay, the VMs are replicated, is in the Azure right now. It's not even spinned up. Okay. Now, before we spin, what we need to do, you need to do a playbook. Basically, this playbook, we need to tell them that, okay, this is the IP range. This is actually a virtual network that I want to park this. This is a subnet I want to go this particular VM. And these are the port that I need to open. Then we are also able to provide a step 1, step 2, step 3, which means if, for example, if you have a AD server has to come first, then database server need to come, then app server need to come, then web server has to come. You can place all these steps here. Once you've done that, then the boot up of the image will be on that particular sequence. Once all this ready, then you can go to your VMware. You can shut down your VM. The moment you shut down, it will come here. You refresh the screen no longer available. Now you need to go and Azure. Then you can click a failover. When you click failover, it give you option whether do you want to go lowest RPO or app consistency. Because we are using application here, we want to go with app consistency. Choose your option. Once you click the button failover, basically it start pulling all the information and using your playbook start deploying the VM in the Azure. Within next 10 to 15 minutes, your VM is ready. All the VM is up running on Azure. Then you go to your DNS entry, remap your DNS entry to Azure. Once you've done that, it will actually, when you click refresh, you are able to see the VMs are actually the website running from Azure instead of running from on-prem. Okay, so this is actually for migrating your workload. Basically, what I did actually, I went to Azure, I created my Azure Migrate program. I did an assessment. After assessment, I started migrating that VM to Azure. Okay, so that is actually is high level that we can talk about. Now, the question is actually is when I was running this in on-prem, I was using all my monitoring tool to monitor the VM. Now I'm moving to Azure. How I'm going to monitor this in Azure, right? Because monitoring also very important step. Once you migrate, right? So that is where we have Azure Monitor. So in Azure Monitor, we do have a lot of things. So you can monitor at the subscription level, resource level, guest level, and application level. So this is a very high level architecture that you can see. So you can able to get the, integrate using event hub. You can respond to using alerts, and you have a matrix that you can go and analyze using log analytic. And you can also have a build the dashboard using Azure, and also you can use a Power BI or actually work to build it. Then you do have an application and container VM, all this that we can able to get insights of the things, right? The data can be able to come from various sources. Then it comes to matrix and log, then we will able to see all this information. So what I will do, I will stop here. I will go to demo, live demo, so that you can see the information. So this is actually is Azure portal. When you go to Azure portal, you can see that icon called monitor. When you click this monitor icon, basically you will be able to go to Azure Monitor window. Okay, here you can able to see all the monitoring things. You can able to see alert, matrix, logs, service health workbook. Then if you come here, you can see application, virtual machine, storage account, all these details, right? So what I'm going to do, I just preloaded some information so that I can run through faster because we have only limited time. So I loaded my screens in multiple windows so that I can walk through fast. So basically, I can select any number of any which subscription that I want. So this case, I have so many subscription. I selected Kantosa Hotel is my subscription. In this, I can able to select also all the user group, or I can able to filter in a certain resource group. So in this case, actually, I filter into a retail RG a resource group, which is a primary resource group. Then I'm going to look at only for the retail resource group, all the VMs. What is the CPU utilization of the VMs? So I can able to see my CPU utilization. Then I'm also able to see the memory utilization, and I'm able to see the bytes sent and the received. So these are the very basic metrics that we will able to see on the performance point of view. Now, the thing is actually all this server I already have. Then I want to see more detail, more things, right? then you can go and click view book, then you can go to gallery. When you go to gallery, then you will able to see related lot of pre-built book that we already provided. Using this book, you will able to see the detail. Example, you can see that which are the port is actually active. By clicking this book, then you will able to see, the detail of the books that you have. Okay, so you can see that this particular VM, these ports are actually port 80 is open, how many bytes are sent, what other things are going on. Okay, so you're able to see different type of matrix. Then you can go navigate into a different detail. Okay, so now let me go back. Now I do have a list of group of VMs. All this group of VM, I want to know a map, how the clients are connected, each client connected to where, how the traffics are going. If I expand this further, then you can see that this particular client actually is at the server connected to a 10 client. If I want to know what are the 10 client, by expanding this, I know these are the 10 client actually is connecting to this server. Now, once it's disconnected, if I highlight it, then it gives me a view how these connections are, this one connected to a different thing in the backend. Example, what ports are open, how the communication is going. Okay, so this is one view that I can give. Second, when I go here, I can also click show self-link. By clicking the self-link, then you can see that how each servers are communicating each other, right? You see the arrows are changed now. You can see that all the things actually is communicating each other. Okay, so that is actually is a different view. So you can think that, hey, why this server is communicating to this guy? It shouldn't happen, right? I need to do something. Then you can go and investigate, and you can go and block in the NSG using application, network security. Then you can start blocking those things. This is really give you a very good insights of your network traffic. Then I can hide this. Then I can go and expand entire group. The moment I click expand, you can see the full traffic detail that is happening between the servers, how details are actually it is going on, right? You can see the full map, and you can able to see the whole detail of the server. Each one is communicating what, how the communication channels are happening. Okay, so I don't have a big screen to show all the detail, but at least you got an idea how to see the information, right? I can click go back, then it can give me. Also, I can able to go and get the data on a specific period. I want to know only last 1 hour, I want to know last 30 minutes, or I can define the custom. Then you can able to see yesterday was like this, today was like this. Why? You can see the differences, right? Then you can see the different type of thing, whether you want to know only VM, whether you want to know all. Then you can want to go which workspace the data is coming from, all the detail, right? So you can go down to the different filters, you can apply the filters, you will be able to get the details. This is for the monitoring point of view. Now the next one is the storage point of view, because the storage is most important in the cloud. If I do have storage, because you also paying storage on the transaction based cost as well. If somebody not doing the right program, then your the transaction cost always will go up. So how do I commit the data into the storage, right? So what is the latency for it, and all these things you can able to see using this overview. Then also you want to know the capacity point of view. You have provision X number of storage, but you want to know how much is used, what is actually is there, right? So those things you can able to see using the storage. The next one is actually is container. Is a container is another important piece. I think later on Nilesh is going to talk about serverless. And when you go through the container, right? So he will talk about the serverless containers and all this thing. But how do I monitor container? Because container is one of the things that I need to do. I have actually is cluster. Uh, this cluster is actually consists of X number of nodes, right? I want to know how my cluster is performing in the first place. Is that a CPU utilization, memory utilization, and the number of node count, the active pool, all of them is there or not, right? I need to see first. So this particular view able to monitor my cluster. Then if I click my node for the cluster, how many nodes are I'm running? For this case, I'm running 3 nodes. In this one, if you look at, I'm running on 2 Windows node and 2 Linux node and 1 Windows node. By looking at icon, I'm able to see what are the node that I'm running. When I expand this, I can able to see, the first thing is, let me click this window. When I click that icon, it gives me the detail of the node level detail. Example, it will give me the information. We'll let it load while it will come. I'll just talk about this case. So how many this node and what are the ports are running inside this node. I'm able to go down to the detail and able to see the number of ports actually running. Each port, how many containers are running. That also we'll able to see. Okay, so these are the details that we can able to see high level. I don't know why it's taking time to load this information. Okay, let it load. So then I also need to monitor my controllers. So I can able to go and see how the monitoring of my controller. Okay, so this is the reason actually I preloaded all my screens so that it looks faster, right? Because working from home, always this is the difficulties that we face. So let's come this, right. I can able to look at the controller because the controller is also most important for us to monitor. Then the container, then the port and the container that also we need to monitor. I'll come back to this while since we have less time, right? So then I also able to go through the matrix. I can go and select VM, then VM host. Okay, then if I want to monitor CPU and average or count and everything, I can select my own filter, and I'm able to see the particular VM, how the VM is able to monitor. Then this is actually is the workbook. Basically, I can go in here, I can see the workbook, I can see the usage pattern analytic and everything. Okay, so it will start to load my information and able to see the details. Let me take and also hotel. My application is actually is Prime Insight. Then if I click this, I'm able to see the details of the deal. Okay. It's taking a couple of minutes to load. Actually, you can see the detail here. The detail will come here. How many user, unique user, how many sessions and view and so on. So those details able to see. I don't know why it's not appearing here now. Usually that is what we will able to see here by selecting the application detail. Okay. Okay, let me take this detail API. Yeah. So I can able to see the detail, right? So I have home page. How many people visited a home page? What is the unique user, unique session, views, and so on, so detail. So by clicking this usage analytic, that you can able to go down to the application level, we'll able to see the details. Then this is actually is the next one is actually also let me cover application insights. Application insights is actually another important thing. So if you are running an application, how do I know that my application performance is going good, right? How this application is performing. Previously, I show you the map on the server level connection, right? I have a server, how the servers are each other talking. Now we go down inside the application, how the application is actually is talking to each other. Example, I do have my retail instance. These instance actually need to talk to SQL database. How long it takes? It takes 9.8 milliseconds to have a connection. If it take a data storage account, it takes 9.1 milliseconds, right? Then you can see that where the performance are actually lagging and so on. So this will help you to assess your application level performance. If I click detail, then I am able to see the log of this thing. How many top requests is failed request? What is actually slowest request? and all the details that you can able to go down. This will be very good information for application developer to troubleshoot and improve the traffic. I will also able to see the different view of the thing, how this traffic is coming in. The traffic is actually routing into a different storage account. What is the performance of those details? Then we can also have a smart detect using the AI. We actually able to see that smart detect. We look at your data. I mean, basically your traffic. If you are using our apps inside, then we match our intelligence and will tell you that these are the things that you may need to look into to protect your applications. Then you will also able to see live matrix, because if you actually load is coming huge, then you can see the live matrix by using the apps inside, so that it will give you the live traffic of your view, how the traffics are coming in, and what are the things are actually going. Now you can start see that traffics are start capturing, then the dots are actually is coming in, right? The moment you start putting in a workload, then you can see the lively how many records are actually coming, how many records are failing. Okay, so then let me show you the interesting piece here is user flow. User flow is another interesting piece that you can able to see, because you are spending a lot of money to develop your application. But when you develop your application, you are spending your money to particular page, right? But user is not spending most of the time there. It's no point of spending your money there, right? So now the user is coming into home page where they are spending their time. You can see that first step they are going here, right? If they go to first step, they're going to second step here, right? Then from second step, they are drop out. But if you are going here, then second step this way, then they are going to third. So you can go to up to level 9 levels. Then you can see the 9 level of data that where the people are going. Then you can put your spending or improvement on those areas instead of the one that people not even visiting. Example, if you are actually going to this, right? You see only less people are going. Then no point of investing in improving that page rather than spending in improving on these pages, right? This will give you a clarity on the how the user is coming to your website and how they are accessing the websites. Then the next piece is actually is my question. The most of the question that we received from the customer is, hey, is that Azure is doing a planned maintenance? If they do planned maintenance, do they announce to us? Yes. If you go to Service Health, you can click planned maintenance. Then it will tell you what is our planned maintenance schedule, which service is actually affecting, and when we are going to do, what we are going to do. All these details will be publicly available. Then any health related advisory that also you will able to see, those things also will appear in the portal. And also advisory also will issue. If in case any service issue that Azure has faces, then you can go here and you can able to see no service issue found. So that means all over the world we monitor and we will able to see that all the details of the information here. So everything completely transparent that you are able to see the detail. The next question is actually customer is asked, great Faizal, you have showed me how do I monitor my workload, right? But monitoring workload is not stopping there. Show me how do I do secure my workload, because in on-prem, I do have my own tool to go and secure my workload and able to see the details of the workload and every information, right? In the cloud, what we call it actually Azure Security Center. In Azure Security Center, basically we do have regulatory compliance, because regulatory compliance is most important. So example, if I click my regulatory compliance, I'm able to see compliance point of view. Example, Azure CIS compliance. So Azure CIS is actually a compliance that is regulatory body who come up with a certain standard. Then your organization need to comply to that. Then you can use this to see. Example, let me take one of the two examples here. Ensure that the multi-factor authentication enabled for all privileged user. If some user is trying to log in Azure portal, then that user need to be a multi-factor authentication. If you are not enabled, this become a red mark. Then you are not comply to that, right? Then if you're actually adding the all non-privileged user also need to enable, then you can also enable, right? So these are some privilege. We can't monitor this day by day. So this tool help you to monitor all information that you want. If you are actually looking at the security center point of view, do you actually enable monitoring the policies to be updated. For example, all the system need to be up to date. So how do I monitor, right? So this tool helps you to monitor and tell you that out of 15 subscription, one is failed, right? Then which is that one subscription that is failed? By clicking this, you will know the detail of the subscription and the information, right? So this gives you the complete detail on the regulatory point of view and also the other stuff, right? So for example, if I go back to my regulators, so I can able to see is ISO 27001, all the detail, right? So now we are working on something new. It's called Azure Security Benchmark. So this will give you the security benchmark against the based on the Azure recommendation. So we are also coming up with something called custom. The custom is actually is under preview right now. So the custom policy that you can come up with, you can build your own policy. Those policy will also be able to monitor. Okay. So this is for the regulatory compliance point of view. The next one is actually Microsoft providing recommendation based on your workload, based on our intelligence, because we actually take a 1.4 billion trillion data in a day. Then we actually look at that particular security vulnerabilities. Then we map against your vulnerabilities and see which are the vulnerabilities that you potentially may face. Because if you look at, these are the categories that you can see. Example, you may have a remediate vulnerability. Under remediate vulnerability, you need to enable assessment for your SQL server, or you also need to have a remediate your vulnerability found on the virtual machine by Qualish, right? So there's a third-party tool which is actually it's come free with the Azure standard subscription. Then you can use this tool. Then you can able to see what are the vulnerabilities inside the VM that you have. Then it actually appear directly in your portal. Then you can see that these are the vulnerabilities that we found. Then how do we fix that vulnerabilities? Okay, here is the remediation step that you can able to take. Which are the resources that is actually is affected, right? What was the threat actually if it happened? The details are is given. Then you can start fixing this issue by looking at the vulnerabilities, right? So similarly, if I go to other one, is actually enable encryption address. If your VM disk need to be encrypted, then if you are not encrypted, this will be able to detect and tell you these are the disks that you need to encrypt. If you are not enabled TDE for your SQL database, will also tell you it actually you need to enable TDE. Then the thing recently we introduced called quick fix. When you click quick fix, it will actually take you to the screen and tell you what are the resources. Then you can start quickly fix that issue. Okay, let me show you a while once it's loaded. Okay, so now you can see that resources. Since I don't have access to this, then you can click. Then when you click remediate, it will give you the window to remediate the detail. So here is the steps to remediate. If you want to see the logic of the remediation, this is what the logic is. Actually, is a JSON script that you can see that logic that can be remediated. Okay. So there are a lot of details that you can able to run through. Here is the most of the detail, so which is the system related update. Okay, encryption data in transit. Okay, all the details that you can able to go through. But at the moment, since we don't have a less, we have only less time. I just want to stop here and move to the next topic. Okay, so this is actually that we can able to see the recommendation and everything. Then if I go to this right now, you can see that data security by categories. So let me click. What I show you is actually is remediation. In this remediation, by looking at this, I can go by secure networking. If I click my networking, then I can only see network related issues, right? I can click compute, I can only see compute related issues. Okay, so data and storage. Then I can categorize by clicking this, then I can go to only particular issue. Because you are in an organization, you may have a different people to do different stuff. Example, compute and apps may be done by a person, networking done by a networking engineers, then data done by data engineers, right? So identity done by identity engineers. In this case, you can able to segregate the role, then they will be able to see those details. The next interesting thing is actually is your virtual network map. because you have developed a lot of virtual network in your organization with various topologies, right? You want to know how my entire subscription and all the topologies look like, how the traffics are actually is going, right? So you can see all the detail here, right? Then now if I click this, I can see incoming traffic and outgoing traffic, right? So you can see the traffic is actually how the traffics are going. If this VM is actually is connected to this, and from here it also connected to this particular thing. Example, this VNet actually consists of 4 subnet. Each subnet actually has a VM. Then how the traffics are actually going. Okay, now if I go here and change the topology to allow traffic, now you can see that the traffics are allowed, right? So basically is the traffics are actually allowed in various locations. So if you don't want traffic to this particular VNet, not communicating to this particular VNet, then you can able to see why it's communicating, right? You can able to see, then you can able to go and do a mitigation. But right now you can see that these subscriptions are connected to this. These subscription actually appear to this. Okay, this detail that you can be able to see in a single click. You thought this is very hard for you to find out, but at least this will give you the high level overview. Okay. Now, the next is actually is the threats. Microsoft actually provide you the threat intelligence. Let me go back to overview. You can see the threat protection. Basically, we look at the VM traffic and see that how long, what are the threats are happening. Let's say, let me take this one. This one has 11 threads here. When you look at this 11 threads, what are the 11 threads? These are the VM. And if I click this VM, then it gives you the actual thread that is happening. Someone trying to run this particular tool inside the VM and what they are trying to do, what type of thing they are trying to meet, do inside the VM. I'm able to get the detail and able to go down to the detail, and I can see that what are the suspicious activity they have made and what is the remedy step that I can take to prevent this not happening anymore. Okay, then if I want to automate, I can trigger a logic up, then I can start automate the stuff using the logic ups. Okay, then the last part is actually is what I want to cover here is I have 1 minute, 1 more minute. So this actually entire thing that you can able to walk through. This itself is a separate topic, but I will stop here. Then let me go to quickly to cost management. How do I optimize this? Basically here you can see the Azure cost management. In Azure cost management that you are able to see, this tool will be able to give you the cost. Now I can be able to see the cost of the entire thing, but if I want to know, filter by resource type, then it gives me the resource type, right? Then if I actually, let me take a resource type to, okay, let me take the resource type, and I select all the resource type. Then it gives me the resource type. Then it will give me the view of the resource type, right? It start coming. So okay, meta category. Okay, now you see, you can see that this 33,000 accumulation cost actually is done by SQL is actually I'm paying 5,000. Azure Stack I'm paying 4,000. Storage I'm paying 3,000. It give me a breakdown of the detail. Then I can able to see. Then also you see the green bar here. This green actually is based on your budget. If you use the budget, then you tell you that if you use the same level of spending, it will go as per your budget, not above your budget. If something above budget, it will become a red mark. Then it will also give you the above the budget. Then you can see by service name. You can go by location. You can go by enrollment account. You can filter many filters that we have. You can apply the filter. Then you can able to see. Then we'll also have a different type of thing. You want to go line chart. You want to go column chart. So and so. Then you can see different view of this data and you can able to go. Then budget, you can set up budget. When you set up budget, it can give you the alert for the budget. Example, if I take one of the department, then you can say that this is my budget I want to see and how much I'm spending. Okay, am I spending over budget? Okay, so then you can see here I'm at the 72% of my budget, but I spend overlay in my budget on this particular department. Then you can see that I've only put a X dollar, but I'm spending 200% over. Why? Then you can go and investigate those details. Okay, and then you can also go and apply. We will also able to tell you the result instance and all the detail, and we will able to tell you what are the result instance capacity that you can able to take it and details. Okay. So this is very high level. So because of the time, next speaker has to come on board. So I have to stop here. So what we can do, right? This is actually is the detail. If you are very much interested, then I will ask Satish to arrange the separate UG session for this particular topic. Then I will walk through Azure Cost Management as a separate topic, and Azure Security Center as a separate topic, Azure Monitor as a separate topic. Okay. So with this, I'm stopping here because the rest of the slides that I had prepared in case demo not working to work, but I cover most of the items that we want to cover here. Okay. So with this, thank you so much for everyone. Any question, anything that I miss out, anything that I need to answer here? Let me just quick glance that I take it.
Thank you, Faisal.
Okay, then I don't see any question, so I stop here. So is the map report available for App Service? Yes, the map report available. It's actually using the Apps Insight, which I just now show the demo. You have to use Apps Insight instead of the thing, but you can see map for the app servers and all the details. Okay. Okay then. If this case, let me sign off. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you, Faisal. It's very interesting about the answers and anything else, and we will wait for the next stage.